Hello, welcome to FilmDirt. Just as I'm recording this, I finished watching The Final Battle. So it's all fresh in my mind now after such a long time of seeing this. It came out in 1984 on the NBC network in the US, and then it showed in the UK, I believe on ITV. Quite late night, it wasn't really advertised as such. I was at school and it was more of a word of mouth thing that we all had to see this huge spectacle of an alien invasion show. And once word got round the school, a lot of us kids definitely watched it from then on and very much had a cult following. So I've already reviewed the original two-parter miniseries. This story is about an alien invasion and they're seemingly friendly at first. The pack of lies they gave us was that their planet was dying, and to help save it, they need environmental chemicals that we have. And as a thank you for our generosity, they were going to educate us with all their interplanetary technology and knowledge. And here they've thrown another gift into the mix. They had the cure for cancer. So it's all a very tempting offer. And you often wonder, is it really an offer, or are they going to insist that they stay here? That's possibly more accurate, isn't it? Because, of course, it's all lies. Their real intentions, steal the water until the earth is dry, or they're going to colonize this one and use us all for food. That's really nice of them, isn't it? I think they need a little bit of Michael Ironside, don't they, in their faces? What do you think, guys? Thanks to the damning footage that Mike Donovan managed to shoot while he snuck up into the mothership, resistance fighters are really starting to mobilise. He caught them all red-handed, revealing too much of their real intentions and that they're really green-skinned, scaly lizards. We covered quite a lot of ground. Themes of fascism and Nazi concentration camps, social manipulation with engineering a fake movement against scientists because they're more likely to find out what these aliens are really up to and their weaknesses. All of that was fantastic initially, but a lot of it isn't really carried over to the final battle. Because unfortunately Kenneth Johnson kind of fell out with the direction the follow-up series was going in and possibly a reduced budget. I did a little digging and from what I've read, it was supposed to be a 2-episode miniseries special, and the following year they were going to release the conclusion, which was another 2 episodes. However, here they've stretched it out to 3 episodes. NBC wanted to really get a weekly series underway because of the success of the original miniseries. And I guess Kenneth Johnson thought that he'd rather get a degree of quality out there and he needs a certain budget to do it. And you have to wonder, what if? What would the conclusion to this story have been like? Now, Kenneth Johnson did release a book called The Second Generation. I haven't read it, I've only read excerpts from it. It does look interesting, but I'd really want to see that made for the screen rather than mixing other media to understand the direction we're going in. I think it's a shame. The quality was definitely much greater initially than what we got with the final battle, but really, I think there's a lot of good in the final battle. A lot of the themes are carried over, although in a much reduced way, I guess. And there is much more set pieces and individual incidents and skirmishes. The real pick of them all was the unmasking of the Supreme Leader, John, on live TV. That was the trailer moment. That was the big moment. And also that's the danger of having live TV. I mean, take it from me, no TV is live anymore. Even though they say they're live, there's always a 5-minute delay just in case one of the lizards on screen is unmasked. But the way the scene is executed here, I think it's very well done. You got some strong words from Juliet, played brilliantly by Faye, and the whole scene plays out in a real edge of your seat way. You can't wait to find out what happens next. Here we do see their continued efforts to live amongst us and really deceive us into slowly letting them take over. It seems like they've got a lot of bases set up here and a lot of functions in their name. They've now got what might as well be called the Hitler Youth. They've got young Earth volunteers integrated into their ranks, and they're basically slaves, I guess, doing all sorts of publicity work for the aliens. And I did like the about turn in the story with the reporter, Christine Walsh, where she was very much acting as a publicity mouthpiece. And then she's had enough. She saw her moment on live TV to reinforce the message. And afterwards, the visitors managed to cover it over, saying it was all a stunt. This is just the position of the news and media to social engineer our way of thinking. So the quality really is here. There's a lot here to think about, really. Like I say, this isn't a bad show at all. The effects here do hold up. I know they've clearly recycled a lot of shots from the first episodes, but even the new stuff here they have to do is all carried over, and it does look good. But another negative is the look of the show. I think they must have changed a cinematographer. It does look very flat and simply lit, evenly and televisual, I guess you could say. Whereas the original episodes were very theatrical and diffused lighting. It did look much more interesting. And in the final battle, it's maybe more noticeable in the scenes on the mothership where everything is lit simply, and it does look like a studio set rather than an actual hangar bay or aircraft carrier like it looked originally. And I've just got to mention that there are a few inconsistencies with this story. I think the red dust killer for the visitors just seemed a little bit convenient, just throwing all of this chemical that's really untested into the atmosphere. I'm not a scientist or a geologist, but it just seemed like a story thread just as a get out. And also the new ammunition provided by Michael Ironside's character, Ham Tyler, that punches through their body armour. That just seems like another get out as well. I'd like to have seen more of the difficulties overcoming the visitors further developed. So again, I really love this show. And when you look at the whole thing, it's really 5 episodes of compelling TV. And it does all come to kind of a conclusion. Nicely realised by director Richard Heffron. I'm not familiar with his work, but he did look like a very experienced TV director and a solid replacement for Kenneth Johnson. So to give this a score, it's 4.5 stars for me. It's almost as good as the original 2-parter. And we need to mention that this show spawned a couple of not so good series. There was a weekly show with some of these characters. I do remember trying to watch it and really just getting fed up. It went all really silly and it was so bad it was a comedy. And also there was a 2009 reboot. I remember trying to watch that. It just seemed to be quite a lot of episodes where nothing much was being progressed. And we weren't getting anywhere. I've got to say, quite boring as well. The story was completely unconnected, but it was good to see a couple of the returning characters in different roles, namely Jane Badler and Marc Singer. And both of these terrible series both got cancelled. Yes, enough of that. So during my little dig for information about this show, I think I did see some rumours that Kenneth Johnson has submitted a script for a movie or another mini-series. I hope that sees the light of day. I think that news was a few years ago now, so who knows if anything is going to develop. Maybe the visitors come back, or maybe Ham Tyler goes to them. That'll be a show I'd love to see. So thanks again for joining me for this little retrospective and reminisce about this great show. 5 feature-length episodes of compelling TV. Join me again for another little movie or TV chat. You can do that by subscribing to this channel, just like everyone keeps telling you to do. Looking forward to speaking to you again. All the best. Take care.